Hey guys, my name is Jennifer and I am Jenofeve Designs. Today we are going to start the Large Wanderlust printable mini album template using the Prima Misty Rose, and this is what we're making. Let me show you the paper collection. This one was released in June or July of last year, which, by the way, it is 2019, so Happy New Year to everybody. This is my first video of the year. My son is back in school, so I finally have quiet time to record. But we are going to be starting this Traveler's Notebook mini album today, and we're going to be making the covers. So these projects were from when I taught a class for Maymay's Made-A-Con, and it was in September, and it was in Tennessee. And it was a ton of fun. So I am going to be using one of the kits from this class. However, you do not have to have the kit, nor do you have to have this paper collection if you don't want it. I will be telling you exactly what to be printing off, exactly what you need, step by step, every video. So I just wanted to remind you that there is a link down in the description box below for the Wanderlust templates. There is a link to an Amazon list that has all of this in it. And by the way, I checked before I started recording. Misty Rose is still available, and the links that I have down below, whether it be a scrapbooking online store, whether it be on Amazon, whether it be on Etsy, I have all of that listed down below or linked down below, so you can still get your hands on this collection. But the Amazon list is really cool because everything that I use that I can find is in that Amazon list, so you can check it out. So if you wanted to check out my paper trimmer or my scissors or the glue or whatever, you can check it out there on the Amazon list. So the Amazon list will be titled Wanderlust Misty Rose. So that will be this album right here. So this is what, this was the prototype that I made for that class. And we're going to start with the covers. We're going to start by making the covers. So let me show you the things that you're going to need to start with to make the covers. Let's see. First, for the large mini album covers, that's on page 1 in the large. So the Wanderlust collection is available in bundle sets, and the reason for that is because I like to have different sizes of pages and things in my mini albums. I like them to be very interactive. So in order for me to be able to provide both styles, whether it be a mini album or a traveler's notebook, I wanted to have them broken up into their proper sizes, but then I also wanted you to be able to have something that is smaller or bigger to put in each one of those albums. So I didn't want to just give you, okay, you could just buy the large Wanderlust, which is the standard size traveler's notebook, or you can just buy the medium. I didn't want to do that. I wanted you to be able to have a bundle. So it comes in 3 different bundles. There is the large, medium, small bundle. There is the large, medium bundle, and then there is the medium, small bundle. So for this class, I'm pretty sure I just included the large and the medium stuff. You know, there are different elements from each one. So the covers, we're going to be using these large covers. Now, I've already cut mine out. These were actually provided pre-cut in the kit. But all you do, is take these traceable templates. You print out page 1 onto heavy cardstock. This is 110-pound white cardstock. Print it out, cut it out, and then you can lay it on your chipboard, trace around it, you know, and then trim it out. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could have made this one continuous piece and just score the chipboard, because this is super, super thin chipboard. So this is kind of like cereal box weight chipboard. Let's see. I can't think of, it's just lightweight. I think that's what it's called, just lightweight chipboard. So you can, if you want to, you can score this, and you could have had one solid piece like this, and that would work out just fine too. Like this one here, this is the medium Wanderlust, and this is one solid piece. It's just paper with fabric in the middle, but it's the same concept. There's no space in between there. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I've already got that cut out, so we needed that. And then I've got a few pieces of Tyvek, not Tyvek, Tyvek, T-Y-V-E-K. So you can recycle an envelope that you might get from something that was shipped to you, or you can, I had to buy mine in a big old roll because I needed a bunch. So this is just one of the pieces left over. So this is just a big piece of Tyvek. But I did notice that they do come in sheets of 12 by 12 and 8.5 by 11. So I will link that in my Amazon list. So if you wanted to go in with some friends and get you some, I mean, I don't think you could ever run out if you get like a, you know, a pack of Tyvek, because I think you got to get quite a few sheets of it. But anyway, so what I did is the same height as the covers, and then the width of it is 3.5. So I got 2 pieces of Tyvek, a front and a back cover, and I have the spine. I think I'm going to attach the spine to one of these pieces of Tyvek first. And I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive tape. This is 1/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cover this back side. Whoops. I'm just going to cover one side for now with tape. I don't have a larger size tape, or I would be using that. These are Tim Holtz mini snips. I'm finally getting used to those. Okay, and then I'm going to remove the tape backing, and I'm going to attach it to, the best I can, to the center of this piece of Tyvek. Whoops! I don't think that's ever happened before. Because it doesn't matter, you're not going to see it. I mean, if you wanted to, if you can't get your hands on Tyvek, you could use the fabric, like a muslin fabric. It might be just a little bit thicker, but you could totally use a fabric instead, like what we did here. This whole thing is a piece of fabric with paper on top of it, but you could, if you wanted to, just cut a strip of fabric and use that along your spine. Fabric doesn't tear as easily either. So this stuff you can't hardly do. You can cut it, but you can't really tear it. So I really like that. And it does reinforce the fact that you're going to be opening this journal. You know, the spine pieces are going to get a lot of movement. So this will keep that from becoming an issue. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take the same tape, and I'm going to put a piece on the edge there. You may not need that much of the Tyvek, but these I'd already pre-cut for my class. It was probably just the easiest measurement. So if you wanted to, you could only have like a 1/2 inch hanging over on each side. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and run another strip on here. I feel like I'm reaching out again. Alright, so on each one of these covers, I am going to put a piece of tape on this one edge. Right, I think that's all I'm going to need. Yep, I'm just going to put it on one edge of each one. To go ahead and burnish this down. I don't feel like it's burnished down very good. So this tape that I'm using right here is scrapbook.com tape. I will link that below as well. It's a really good affordable alternative to score tape. I'll have score tape linked in my Amazon list, so if you would rather have score tape, I like score tape a lot too. I guess it really just depends on where you're shopping, you know. That's what happens with me. If I'm shopping on scrapbook.com, I look at scrapbook.com's tape. So I am going to reinforce this with a little bit of art glitter glue. And it is January right now, so there's a big chance that you can't get it because they can't ship it in the winter months if it's cold. So just keep that in mind. So I'm just going to put just a little bit. I just want to make sure that it does not come apart. And I'm going to leave a very generous gap there, a little over 1/8 of an inch, depending on your thickness of chipboard. Oops, that's okay. If you're using really thick, heavyweight chipboard, you may want to leave a bigger gap there. But this is just like, you could even use recycling like cereal box for this cover. And if you're using something thin like that, then you don't have to leave as big a gap. But I like to be generous with my gap because I want it to be able to fold nicely without getting bunched up. Oh. Okay. Okay, now I am going to go ahead and use a second piece of this tie back, and I am going to put tape almost exactly the same way I did the other piece. So I'm just going to fill in the space. I wish I had a bigger piece of tape. I didn't have to do so many strips, but I don't. Not currently. Oh, actually I do. You just don't want to get tape in that groove because it'll get stuck. Every time you go to move it around, it'll get stuck. So on this piece of tie back, I'm going to run 2 pieces on each edge, just like I did on the other piece. Alright, now I'm going to remove all of the tape backing. Uh-oh. It was stuck. Alright, so now I'm going to add some glue again. Just to make sure that it doesn't come apart. Last thing you want is to spend all this time building this beautiful album and then it fall apart on you. You just don't, that would be really sad. So I'm just going to lay this over top just like that. And I'm going to burnish it down really, really good. Alright, so now we've got the structure of the covers put together, and these are the 2 pages that I'm going to use to, this is going to be the outside cover, and, or, you know, I'm going to cover the outside of the mini album / traveler's notebook. With this one, we're going to do a wraparound edge, and then this piece here is going to be the lining. So this one has this on one side. This side just looks like Ode. Well, I mean, they have the same stuff on there, but no flowers on this, and no foil. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tape and I'm going to go around all of the edges here. Okay, and then since I can see where the groove is, I'm going to place a piece of tape on either side of that groove that's on both sides of the spine here. This way, I'm having a hard time talking, you guys. This way, it won't buckle up when we move it around, and we're going to have to do the same thing on the inside. I hate that. I mean, it happens. You can see I've got 4 strips here on the inside, 1 on each side of that gap on the spine, and then all the way around the edges. Let me move this sheet out of the way. So I'm going to flip this on this side here so that when I get this prepared, I can just flip it over and plop it down. I'm going to remove the backing. And then again, I'm going to take my art glitter glue and just kind of fill in the rest of the space. This has a fine tip on it that you have to buy separately. It does not come with the glue, but it's worth it in my opinion. Okay, so then I'm going to come up about 3/4 of an, oops, no, it'll be fine. 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and oh, this one almost barely fits. So it looks like there's like 5/8 of an inch on each side. So I'm just going to place that down. You see how there's just a little bit of space on each side of that? Well, since we're going to be wrapping it around, I want to make sure that I have enough to wrap. Alright, let me flip this over. Alright, so now I'm going to get my paper trimmer out. This is a Fiskars Precision paper trimmer, and I'm just going to cut this top edge. I'm going to leave about 5/8 of an inch here. Okay, I'm going to stick that over here in my scraps. Alright, I think for this one, I'm just going to cut, I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm just going to cut these corners. And I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch from that edge there. And the reason why I'm not being super precise for these, you know, for this cover is because we're going to be putting corners on, metal corners on. So I'm not real concerned about those because I do have a tool that I could use for it to be perfect. So now I'm going to take this stylus and I'm going to go ahead and score all the way around. I think it makes a nicer fold, a neater fold. And then I'm going to tilt it up on its side there and make another score. I know it's hard for you to see that. My husband cut all these covers for us for the class. He was really helpful. Doing a lot of stuff for me. He was really helpful. Alright, so now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to go ahead and prep it just a little. Like that. And then I'm going to run some tape along the edge of these. Alright, so now I'm going to remove the backing off of one of these pieces here. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue in that empty space there and along the edge just to reinforce. And then I'm going to fold it over and burnish it down. The reason I like this lightweight chipboard is it takes away some of the weight of your album, and it's still extremely sturdy. And I just really like it. It's not super thick. I don't know, I just really like it. I like both. I mean, I like the thicker chipboard as well. But for these, for some reason, I just really am enjoying the lightweight chipboard for these Wanderlust albums. Okay. I kind of pinching those corners there for any excess that might be hanging over. Same thing, remove the tape backing. A little bit of glue. Finish it down. Same on this side. A little bit of glue. Burnish it down. I'm just going to give it a quick little test, so you should have enough, you should have left enough of a gap there to be able to fold it just like that without putting a lot of pressure on the paper itself. Okay, so now let's do the inside lining. So I'm not going to give you measurements for this because your gap might be a different size gap than mine. So I'm just going to tell you that you need to measure it. You know, measure your cover and then subtract like 1/4 of an inch, and that'll leave you like 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So I'm going to do, I'm not going to tell you because I don't want you to be like, oh, well, mine's not that size. It doesn't matter. You measure yours and then you subtract 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to write mine down here. Plus, printers are different. So your printer is different than my printer. So when I printed mine out, mine might be 1/16 of an inch longer than yours, or yours might be 1/16 of an inch longer than mine, or whatever. So just keep that in mind, that everybody's printer is different, and there's really nothing that I can do about that at all. And all I can tell you is that as long as you print off your templates the exact same way, they're going to work together, fit together, and be perfect. I make all of my templates by hand and turn them into a printable template. So it's not a software program that I'm using to create these templates or anything that may be influenced somehow when you are going to print them out. None of that matters. Everybody gets the exact same file. So if your printer prints, you know, a little bit larger or a little bit smaller, that's totally fine. Just as long as you do that, you know, you use the same settings and you print everything out the exact same way, your album will go together perfectly no matter what size it is. Okay, so now I'm going to take this other sheet here and I'm going to trim this up to my measurements that I got from measuring my inside of my cover. And then I'm going to check to see if this fits. I hope it fits. I mean, you never know. You're supposed to measure twice, cut once, but I'm terrible sometimes. Okay, so that's pretty good. So mine is, it looks like it might be a little bit over 1/8 of an inch space all the way around. But before I do and go any further, I'm going to distress the edges with Distress Oxide Walnut Stain. That's just what I've used for all of these albums. And then this is a blending tool, a Ranger blending tool. And I'm just going to go around and I'm going to do the edges of this piece, and then I'm going to do the edges front and back of the cover, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got both pieces inked up or ready to go. So now I'm going to take the tape again and I'm going to go all the way around the edges of the lining piece. And then I'm going to come back to my cover and I'm going to do that same thing again where I go on either side of the spine, and I may even add a few more pieces to the middle here. Oops. I'm not going all the way to the edge because the lining doesn't go all the way to the edge. But the inside is where you'll see a lot of buckling. Let's just go ahead and cover it all up. If you don't have it attached down properly. So you really want to make sure you got that really good. I'm going to go ahead and put another strip on the outside of here too. Okay, and then I'm going to burnish it down. Burnish this down. And I'm going to remove all of this tape backing. Paper backing on this tape. Okay, so then the next thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the art glitter glue and I think I'm going to cover the lining piece. Whoops. Not solid, but I'm going to add some to the lining piece here. And I'm going to try to get this on here pretty good. When you can't get over top of it, it makes it kind of difficult, but it's not crucial. So alright. Now I'm going to burnish all that tape down. I'm just going to kind of try to start prepping to fold it right here. I don't want to be too aggressive. I want that tape to grab on. Oh, perfect. Lovely. So there's no buckling going on inside of there, and that is because now you'll see it's a little bit more difficult to fold it directly in half. There's just more layers. So if you would have left an even bigger gap, you might have a little bit easier of a time doing this, but it's okay. I am going to take a minute and I'm going to ink the inside there just because I feel like it gives it like a finished. You see how I can like bend it all the way the other way? So the better the gap you leave, the better flexible your book is. If that makes any sense. Okay, so the last thing I think we're going to do for this video is we're going to put the metal corners on. And let's see. So in the kit that they got in class, oh, here we go. We have a bag of metal stuff. And let me grab the book corners here. There should be 4. Now I rusted these and I'll have a link. I have a video on that. I'll link that below if you want to check that out. But you could also, if you wanted to, you could also use some alcohol inks instead of rusting. I'm going to take a tissue. I don't know what I do with my paper towels. And I'm just going to rub it gently to get a little bit of any excess rust bits just off a little bit. So I will have these linked in my Amazon list, but they come silver. I guess they come in many different colors, but you can see variety from there. But I had to buy it in a larger quantity, but maybe if you go together with some friends and get you a bag of them, sorry it keeps going in and out, it'd be worth it. So you want to kind of like check to make sure that it fits onto your corners. So I'm just going to check them all here. And these are super, super simple. That one's a little cattywanked. Let's see if it fits a different corner, but oh, it does. It fits that one better. Let's put that one down there. That one is too. Okay. So these are super, super, super simple. You could, if you wanted to, you could open them up. If you got a thicker, like this is a thin, lightweight chipboard, but if you're using thicker chipboards, you might have to open these up to give it more room. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to find something. Well, these are just some pliers. I'm trying to look at the name. I can't see the name. Do I have my glasses? Well, anyway, I wanted the ones that, I can't find the ones that I have that are smooth on the inside. These have like teeth in here, but that's okay. We're just going to go with the flow here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my art glitter glue or whatever white glue you have, and I'm just going to run some along the inside there. And then I'm going to slide it over my cover corner there. And you see a little bit of it oozes out, but that's okay. So I've got it nice and snug in there, and then I'm going to take it just to gently press that down, squeezing it down onto the covers. So if you're getting glue seepage, just wipe it clean. Where's that tissue? I'm going to use that. And see, these are really pliable, these book corners, which is really nice. But there is what it looks like. Well, maybe. Come on, camera. So that is what it looks like when you've got it on there, good and snug. Right? So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them just like that. Okay, so now I've got all 4 book corners on there. And I really, really like the way it looks. There's all different types of book corners that you can get. These are just the ones that I happen to like. And then I thought fit the theme of this book better, of this little traveler's notebook better. Right? So we're going to let all of this dry. And I think we're going to stop here. On this video, and then in the next video we're either going to do the inside layers and then the cording, or we're going to do the outside here. One of the two. I haven't figured out which order I want to go in, but this is where we're headed. This is what we're making. So yeah, so super quick, super easy. So there'll be a playlist down below specifically for this album. So it'll be called the Wanderlust Misty Rose, and it'll be down there. It'll be a YouTube playlist. The first video will be the introduction to the Wanderlust templates, and then the next video will be this video, and then so on and so forth. So if you wanted to start from the beginning, you just go ahead and hit that link down below, and you can watch the intro and you can see exactly what comes in the templates. And then you can build this album with me step by step. Okay? So be sure to check out my templates. Be sure to check out the links below if you're interested in any of the products. And be sure to give me a thumbs up if you liked this video. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And here's a link to my Etsy shop if you're interested in the templates. And then there should be some videos up here that you may enjoy watching. So I will see you guys next time. Bye.